Today we're talking about some of the dumbest actions I've seen in a long time, which then triggered a series of unfortunate events. This story starts off in 2019, but gets absolutely ridiculous in 2023. So one night in 2019 at 11 p.m., Daniela Lace drunk drove her car in London, Ontario, and she managed to strike a house with this car. And unfortunately, she damaged a gas meter doing so. And shortly after, the neighbor's security cameras captured this.
We heard something that sounded off, and then all of a sudden,
bruh. If I saw that in my yard, I wouldn't be thinking drunk driver. But then to make everything worse, a massive fire broke out. And while this person was as unlucky as possible with what she hit, she couldn't have been luckier with the fact that no one passed from this. But clearly, this woman's incredibly reckless actions changed the lives of everyone living in that neighborhood for a long time. So before we get into the craziest plot twist, this is what the homeowner recollects from when the first responders showed up.
They got the woman out of the car and they asked us to back up because the smell of gas was very obvious. That's why we were all panicking to try and get her out. And then they asked us to back up. So we backed up a little bit. And then, they asked us to back up a little bit more. So we did. But it was still so scary that we were curious. And then that's when the explosion happened.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the worst things that could ever happen during a quiet evening. But before things take a laughably stupid turn, I gotta give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Scentbird. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service that allows you to pick from over 600 different designer fragrances. Scentbird lets you choose a new designer fragrance to try every single month for only $17. They come in these cool little vials, and this month I received the Harmonist Magnetic Wood, which smells pretty solid, to be fair. That's clean. I also received Skylar Indigo Valley and Solage House of Four. That's pretty solid as well. Overall, I got some pretty solid scents this month. What's great about Scentbird is you can try all these different designer fragrances without committing to a full bottle, because some bottles can cost upwards of $150 to $500. They have a massive selection of unisex scents from brands to like Tumi to Prada to Gucci to Versace and so on. So I'm sure that you can find something there that you love, and if that sounds interesting to you, you can use code Atozy3 for 55% off your first month, meaning it's only $7 for your first month. But without further ado, let's continue the video. The driver sped down the wrong way on a one-way road, blew through multiple stop signs, and ended up in their house. And they also hit their gas meter, which then caused that carnage. It doesn't get that much worse than that. And apparently she got 3 years in prison for this, which sounds light to me, but I guess Canada is one of those countries where you can around and find out a little bit more than what you can down here. But an article on this says that Lays, who's from Waterloo, she pleaded guilty in October of 2020 to 4 counts of impaired driving, causing bodily harm for the crash that set in the Woodman Avenue explosion on August 14th, 2019. She was given a 3-year prison sentence on February 2021. The court heard that Lays was driving home from a Marilyn Manson concert that night at Budweiser Gardens and drove the wrong way on Queens Avenue before slamming into a house on 430 Woodman Avenue, severing the brick house gas line. Lays was 2.5 times above the legal limit of blood alcohol content to legally drive. What a piece of shit. Also, she drove an hour away from her home in Kitchener to London knowing that she would be consuming alcohol at the concert. This was not a situation where an individual could mistakenly believe they were in any condition to drive. She made the decision to drive, and she had to know that she was in no condition to do so. Now, if you think that's stupid, it's about to get so much more stupid, because apparently there's no accountability, because the recent update to all of this is
the Kitchener woman behind the wheel in an impaired driving crash that destroyed and damaged several homes in London is suing the company that served her at Budweiser Gardens that night. Daniela Lees is facing a number of civil lawsuits in relation to the August 2019 crash and says Ovation's Ontario Food Services should share liability.
What? Why? Are you serious? The woman who's responsible for all this is suing the venue that sold her alcohol. Where's the accountability? Oh my God. I had to pull up an article on this. So according to the statement of the claim, Lees and her father, who owned the car she was driving, alleges that Ovations had a responsibility to do more to ensure her safety that night. The company was not available for comment on Monday. The statement of the claim, which includes allegations that have not been proven in court, alleges that Ovations and their employees served alcohol to Lays when they knew or ought to have known that she was intoxicated or would become intoxicated. Since when is it not okay to get drunk at a concert? It's not like they gave you the keys to your car and said, drive home, be safe, don't blow up a neighborhood on your way home. That the company failed to provide trained bouncers at the exits and monitor the state of intoxication for those leaving the venue. Imagine a venue packed with like tens of thousands of people and you had to wait in a line because the bouncers had to control each and every person leaving the venue if they were too intoxicated to drive or not. That's absolutely insane. The company failed to check her intended mode of transportation as she exited the Budweiser Gardens when they knew or ought to have known that she was or appealed to be intoxicated and or impaired. The Ovation staff ejected Lees from the venue while failing to take steps to ensure she would not drive home. So she got so drunk at the event, she got thrown out of the event, and then she was like, I'm probably fine to drive home. The stupidity here is outrageous. Take some accountability for your actions. You are a grown adult. It's not like they gave you the keys. Oh my goodness. How could have they known that you were not going to Uber? How could have they not known that you didn't have your father come pick you up or that you didn't arrange a ride with your friend? It's okay to get drunk at a venue if you're not driving. It's their responsibility to keep her safe at the venue. Her leveling a neighborhood clearly didn't happen at the venue. Her logic is just so flawed. There's like tens of thousands of people in some venues. How could a venue be responsible for what those tens of thousands of people do after they leave the venue? Like, ma'am, with this logic, your father should share the blame because he let your dumbass drive his car. So I guess in the lawsuit, they're alleging this wouldn't have happened if they just stopped her from driving. There's a lot of other things in your life that could have happened that would have stopped that from happening, but you're not suing them. So take some responsibility for your own stupid actions, own them, and move on. Thankfully, no one passed away from this, so it's easier to move on, but you still caused $10 million worth of damages. That's a life-altering mistake, but you also altered the lives of an entire neighborhood. But yeah, in total, it says that she racked up $10 million in damages, and she's being sued by multiple victims who lived in that neighborhood. So I'm assuming this lawsuit is some sort of Hail Mary to, I don't know, maybe raise some more funds to use for those other lawsuits. I really doubt that case is gonna go anywhere, but she really put a crater in that neighborhood. They even made a video like a 1 year later update.
We're here on Woodman Avenue. It was here 1 year ago that a massive explosion rocked this old East Village neighborhood. It completely leveled one home and badly damaged several more.
Even a year later, it's just dirt. I don't think those homeowners could have been any more unlucky with where her car hit. What are the odds of that happening in the first place? But what are the odds of her hitting the exact spot where the gas line is? But thankfully, the community really came together for those affected.
We were very lucky. I think London was very lucky that, no lives were lost. I give a lot of credit to the community. When this incident first happened, they were on top of things. They were helping whoever they thought needed help. They were knocking on doors, and that was very valuable. That saved seconds, and seconds can save lives.
There's a lot of pros that came from this evening as well as the negatives. I think the pros outweigh the negatives. Seeing the community come together.
No matter how much stupidity and bad there is in the world, it's always nice to see a community come together like that. It really sucks to blow up a whole neighborhood though. And suing won't clear your name. If anything, it'll just bring way more attention to your incredibly stupid actions. So don't drink and drive. And here's a quick money hack. Ubering is infinitely cheaper than $10 million in damages. Subscribe for more money tips and tricks. And again, thank you Scentbird for sponsoring this video. You can get 55% off your first month with Atozy 3 in the link down in the description down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.